So today I'm talking about how we can begin to understand the review of our year, get a bit more clarity, and what we've learned over the year to be able to really make 2017 the most epic year yet. And I say that every year because I want my year to always get better and better and better. And why not? I mean, when you think about it, we are the only person who is in our own way to get the success that we want. We are the factor that we have the most control over, the most potentiality to be able to make a difference. Otherwise, we're just relying on external circumstance or environments to be able to help us. Now, to me, I don't like those odds because I cannot control the external environment. But the one thing I can control is myself. I can begin to learn to control my thoughts, my feelings, my behaviors that will allow me to improve myself throughout the day, throughout the minutes, throughout the weeks, and the whole year ahead. So I'd be interested to know, what have you learned this year? What could you learn from as a general theme of your year which will allow you to grow that bit more? Because I want to be able to share with you what I have learned. You see, I've learned quite a few things. The number one thing which I always have to remember over and over again is that I am able to assume responsibility for who I am and where I'm heading. You see, rather than being the product of life, you can allow life to be a product of what you choose to create. But the other thing is, when I assume responsibility for my world, I also want to understand that if I have an issue that I'm facing right now, or if I have a problem, and I was actually talking about this in Mind Mastery today on a live video. I try to go live there most days to give you my daily insight, to keep you really up to date and really thriving. For more information about that, of course, you can check out the link josephclough.info. But one thing I was really sharing about what I've really learned is the difference from when I start to crush my goals, whether it be through monetary goals, in business goals, providing a service goals, relationship health, all those kind of things. If I have a goal that I want to achieve, I know the difference between when I'm going to make it happen compared to when I'm hesitating. And when I begin to have that wake-up call, I can quickly change my state to make sure I achieve the goals that I want. Because this year has been crazy, crazy good. For me personally, I've been able to really get my business to where it needs to be by providing value and service on a far more intimate level with many, many people. So I can personally coach people. I've been able to go through lots of different challenges through the last year, from moving countries, getting all the paperwork, that, setting up different businesses, new systems, and everything like that. I mean, Mind Mastery will almost be a whole year old next year, early next year. But I've learned things through that. Actually, I'm going to get to my learnings in a moment, but when I think about my challenges, right, I used to think of an issue, think of a challenge or a goal that I want to achieve, and there'll be a hesitancy there. There might be some fear. There might be some scarcity. Am I going to achieve it? Am I able to overcome that obstacle? Am I able to deal with what really needs to be dealt with at a deep unconscious level and a conscious level? Do I have the necessary resources? Do I have the ability to get myself to where I want to be? And those types of thoughts would give me some fear. It would give me some anxiety. And I don't know about you, but have you experienced anxiety this year? Have you experienced fear or scarcity that maybe that goal just might not happen? Or maybe we're unable to change our situation to get the complete success in as quick as time that we actually want to achieve our goal, our outcome, and all those things. Because that's when you're operating from that place, you are operating from fear. Now, sometimes fear, anger, frustration can drive us forward in goals. I know lots of entrepreneurs who have made millions and millions of dollars operating from frustration and anger. It works because it's a raw energy. But is it good? Is it able to keep us healthy? No, it's not. So there are times when, yeah, it works. But more often than not, it is a paralyzing thing. It's a thing which causes us hesitancy to actually go for our goals. We begin to second judge ourselves or second guess ourselves because that doubt, that worry, that fear gets in the way. It's almost like we get in our own way at an unconscious and conscious level, which will always stop us from achieving our dreams. But as I was talking to my Mind Mastery members, as I was coaching them through a live video, I was saying that when I know I'm going to achieve a goal, it's when I don't see it as a problem. And you might be saying, well, Joseph, of course it's a problem. I've got anxiety. Well, yes, it is a problem. But it doesn't mean you have to act as if the problem creates scarcity, doubts, and worries, and all the other stuff which just gets in the way, the self-sabotage, the depression, any issue for that matter. We do not have to see it that way because it just doesn't help us. When you see it as an issue, a conflict, a problem, then the chances are you might have some negative associations, some self-doubt, limiting beliefs, negative feelings, behaviors, and so on. And I was explaining to them from a life experience I actually had this morning, was that when I began to change my thinking, change my perception of how I saw it, I would begin to be able to make changes. I'd be able to really thrive at a deeper level. And that was simply as seeing it as a challenge. And it really is that simple. When you see things as a problem, then the chances are you're going to get locked down into the problem. But when you begin to see it as a challenge, you're actually causing yourself to build yourself and get better and stronger because of it. You see, challenges allow us to grow. Problems can feel as if they're keeping us stuck. So if you're going through a problem right now, I want you to change your mindset and think, okay, this is a challenge that I'm going through. What do I need to do? What do I need to learn to overcome the challenge? How can I be different? And that will cause you to make differences, changes in your life. So we have to assume responsibility, but we have to realize that, do you know what? Just being weighed down by the issue, having all that worry and scarcity and doubt, it's not going to help us. So begin to see it as a challenge that you can overcome. And when you then begin to see it as something that you can overcome, a challenge, you realize that in a challenge, you see growth. You see, a challenge is about you developing yourself as a person. A problem keeps you stuck. So whether it's a problem or not, I want you to see it as a challenge because that will be your opportunity to grow in that moment. And as we're growing and developing and allowing ourselves to just be flexible as we grow and learn, then you'll see that the road becomes clearer. You begin to adapt yourself to where you need to be. Now, the other thing that I've learned predominantly this year is it's not nice to feel isolated. It's not nice to feel alone with your issue. It's not nice to be able to experience that worry and doubt and conflict by yourself. And whether you're experiencing a big issue or not, I mean, it could be like even if you're going for a goal, it's important to surround yourself with people who can help you, support you, and make you move forward. You see, in my business, over the last year, I've included not my employees, but just good friends of mine who I'm proud to call friends, who inspire me every single day. You see, they are cheerleading me on. They're giving me advice. They're allowing me to be open and vulnerable and also share my knowledge and they share their knowledge. Like to have your own group of people who will support you. And all these people are online, by the way. I mean, I've met them in person as well. But on the whole, on the different groups that I'm a part of, we meet online. So even if you feel physically alone, it doesn't mean you have to remain alone. Because I've realized that when you begin to surround yourself with people who are value, and even if that value is cheerleading you on and supporting you and saying, look, you can do this. And I like to think that I can be that for you as well. I want to be able to cheer you on. And I try to do these podcasts, YouTubes, and Facebook Lives and everything. But obviously it's hard to be able to just do it all for people for free, because people pay me money to be in my group, right? So I need to be able to provide them the highest service possible so they get more of me quite significantly, right? But what you need to realize is that you are the sum of who you surround yourself with. So if you're not surrounding yourself with people and you're feeling alone, then it's your job right now to join a group or to join people who will be able to welcome you and support you. You see, even if we take ourselves way back in the day, we were coming from tribes. We began to hang around together because it was safety in numbers. But as well as that, there was comfort in numbers. There was teachings in numbers. And when we began to surround ourselves and bounce off ideas, we're able to develop a society. We're able to develop a culture. We're able to develop a way of being in this world which would be equal on the whole. That's what we like to think anyway, which will actually give service to those in that tribe. And we bring that forward to this day, right? But as we get further on with technology, we can feel more and more isolated. And if we're experiencing an issue and people do not understand where you're coming from, because many people will go, well, just change. Just stop being anxious. Just make that amount of money. Just create a business. Just quit that issue. And it's not that easy. You need to surround yourself with people who've either been in that situation and overcome it, or someone who has the skills to help you. That's great. Or people who are doing the exact same thing as you, because they will be going through the same mission and vision as you. So if you bring people into your world from those three categories, those who have overcome the issue, those people who know how to get you out of there, and those who are going through the same path as you, not quite there, but they're willing to do whatever it takes, because then they begin to inspire you. So I've realized the more I surround myself with powerful people, whether that be in fitness, whether that be with friends, I love my friends. And I got some great friends in America. I had to leave a few in Austin, but we still hang out. We get online and hang out and mastermind our life. We actually were in Sedona recently, and we were just kind of connecting and empowering each other. And then they actually came to San Diego as well, and then it happened again. And it just fills you up. So I urge you this year, the end of this year, or absolutely the beginning of this year coming up, begin to develop your own culture. Begin to develop and create your own society of people who can support you and allow you to shine further than you can ever imagine. Now, in an ideal world, I would love you to be in my group. But I also know that it's not for everyone. Yeah, I said it. I don't want everyone. You see, I want people with the same culture. I want people who are willing to do whatever it takes, who are willing to invest 90 minutes of their week, maybe even 60, to be able to transform their life to such a high level that they begin to live a life of their dreams. And that means not everyone can do that. So in fact, I'm very protective, and I don't want people, and I ask you to be cautious of who you let into your life, like how I do with my life, personally and professionally. I want people who can be my cheerleaders, who I can cheerleader them as well, who I can support them as much as they support me. So I ask you that because if you surround yourself with people who can make things happen for you, you will transform naturally and unconsciously because you're seeing people or hearing people on a daily basis who have done what you've done or going in the same direction, which means you're adding more people that allow you to grow as a person. So remember, you are the sum of who you surround yourself most. And if you're surrounding yourself with no one or people who aren't adding value, it is your responsibility, coming back to responsibility again, and challenge to be able to surround yourself with people. Because when you develop that tribe and you begin to join that group of people, create it or join one, I mean, it's so much easier to join. I mean, trust me, I've tried to create groups like mine. It takes a lot of work. But if you can just join a group who can support you, you will see your life dramatically change. Now, as I said, I'm a member of lots of groups. Some I pay a lot of money to get into. Some who are just very close associates. And of course, my own business groups, right? And it's allowed me to take my mind to a whole new level, my health, my relationships, my career to a whole new level. So by assuming responsibility, beginning to no longer see my issue as the problem, but more it's my challenge to overcome it, because that will allow me to get to the solution, and then bringing people in to my life which will actually give me value and benefit has epically transformed my life. Now, of course, there are many other things which has allowed me to do, like I'm always continually learning. I've got my books, my audios, the people I connect with, all those things. I'm always learning every day. And that is another thing that you have to learn or understand, and more importantly, realize. If you're not learning, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're not achieving what you want out of life. So make the end of this year a declaration to yourself that you're willing to do whatever it takes to overcome your issue and to allow yourself to experience more emotional freedom than ever before. Because there's no point staying the same if you're unhappy, because that builds in regret and it just reaffirms our situation. So go ahead and just make that decision that you're going to dedicate yourself as much time to learning as you do doing silly things. Like you may be spending 5 minutes on Facebook to up to an hour throughout the day on Facebook. To me, unless you're educating yourself, that is a waste. You can spend time on Facebook far less, and you can be utilizing your time to be able to develop your mind, to cultivate it to success. Now, of course, you can go out there and go alone and just kind of learn those things, or, like invest in someone to help you with that. But please make sure you invest time. You see, I've educated myself, having dropped out of college. I had to really knuckle down and educate myself, invest in myself, go on trainings and trainings and trainings to be a therapist, a coach, a hypnotist. And it's allowed me to now work with some magnificent people around the world. And it's allowed my work to get out there. But the education and the application of that education allowed me to make that happen. So I want you to begin to join that group, right? Or create your tribe. There's no or in this one. And begin to realize that educating yourself is going to allow you to grow. You see, when you learn, you become safer. You're upgrading your system. So if you're learning each and every day, you are able to take those learnings, which will allow them to build upon each other throughout the days, throughout the weeks, and get better and better and better. So that's what I really want you to go ahead and consider. Take responsibility. Begin to realize the problem is just a problem, but if you begin to see it as a challenge, you can dig deeper and overcome it. Begin to cultivate your own culture. Invite people into your world or enter other people's worlds, which will allow you to develop as a person, which in turn means we should be educating ourselves to the success. I've always said to myself, if I'm not willing to educate myself, then I'm not wanting it bad enough. And it's simple, right? People go to university because they want to educate themselves, finish it, and get something at the other end, like a job or a career or anything like that. It doesn't always happen, of course, but on the whole, that is the intention. So we have to do the education. We have to learn and grow, because when you do, you will transform your life. So allow those tips just to kind of resonate with you. Now, for more information about me, the only 2 ways that you can work with me right now, I've actually closed down a lot of systems, products right now, and I've just made my life a lot easier by only allowing 2 ways of working with me. And that is the only way right now. I might add things in the future, but right now that's where we're heading. And if you want to learn more, go to josephclough.info and you'll see the 2 ways. Now, if you do that, I hope that we begin to work together. If you can allow yourself to really transform, I cannot wait to work with you. But if not, that's fine. Just apply what I said, and I'm sure you'll be able to get there eventually. Might take longer, of course, because going alone and so on, but you've got all the skills and resources to take your life to where it needs to be. So have the most wonderful day, and I'll speak to you soon. Many thanks and goodbye.